What's up, friends? Welcome back to the number 2 podcast. I'm Glenn.
I'm Simi.
And this episode is going to be amazing.
Pookie.
As always, welcome back to the pod. Please like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We love it. On this week's episode, we are going to be talking about
all the subjects,
a lot of topics, a lot of popular topics. So try to keep up. But the latest craze at the end of the summer, it's basically fall.
Are mosquitoes.
Are mosquitoes. Are you guys being bitten by mosquitoes?
I mean, it's an epidemic.
I don't have West Nile or anything, but like the mosquito, it's real.
At this point.
It's unbelievable everywhere you go.
My mosquito bites aren't just regular mosquito bites. I have Skeeter syndrome, I believe. I'm self-diagnosed, but...
Cousin Skeeter, like Doug Funny?
Well, funny you ask. Skeeter syndrome, I believe, is when...
Tell me more about this syndrome.
Is when you are basically allergic to mosquito bites that, like, they turn into full-blown spider bites. Like
it's like an infection.
Like widow.
Your blood is like, no.
Yeah. Anytime I get a mosquito bite, I pretty much freak out just because I know it's going to be a tough couple nights.
That's horrible. I'm so sorry. I don't get bit as much as you, but I also don't go outside as much.
Yeah. I mean, I even got bit on my finger and I thought it was going to fall off. I don't know if you could see that, but that's disgusting. And
absolutely not.
It's getting better though, which is a good thing. So,
well, I was researching online what you do because the only thing I know about bug bites is you do spray. It's like preventative. Once you already have the bite.
Sometimes I feel like the spray is not working for me though. Like,
well, clearly,
I don't know. It's the diabetes or hypertension or something. Mosquitoes are like, we need that blood.
They're like, you got a lot of sugar and it's mine now.
I could tell he just went to Krispy Kreme's
and had the Dr. Pepper Krispy Kreme donut. And it's a twofer, and I love it.
They're hot and ready.
Unbelievable. In other fast food news, did you hear that the Baja Blast gelato dropped yesterday?
That sounds delicious.
They announced it at like Taco Bell Comic-Con a few months ago, and everybody was like, when is it going to happen? And then it happened. They announced it happened, but it's like limit 3.
Limit 3?
You seem really interested.
They're going to be like McDonald's where the ice cream machine's just going to be down.
I think it's like prepackaged. I don't think anybody at Taco Bell, this is not offensive, but like any Mexican restaurant is not making the desserts in the back. Like fried ice cream is my favorite Mexican dessert, and it's pretty much a ball of ice cream rolled in sugar. And then some restaurants will fry it. So that's cooking. But really you're there for like the dough or the
fast
sugar.
Food, I don't think anything's like fresh. It's all prepackaged regardless, even at McDonald's.
Oh, yeah. They're not back there like milking the cow. My other favorite Mexican, I'm hungry now, dessert is sopapillas. Have you ever had a sopapilla?
I've never had a...
Oh my God. It's not every Mexican restaurant, but if you've ever been to Las Cazuelas, which may or may not still exist, in Kansas City, they had a dessert called sopapillas, and it's like a Mexican beignet. Oh my God. Oh, I think about it to this day.
For our viewers that don't know, Glenn speaks Spanish.
Un poco. Lo siento más.
I wish I spoke Spanish.
They're so good. So any Mexican restaurants out there that make a good sopapilla,
sound off in the comments.
Like, you don't even have to sponsor me. Just text me and I will
just
come.
Feed me.
Sometimes they serve it with like a honey dipping sauce. Oh my God.
Interesting.
Delicious. Must be the skeeters.
Skeeters.
The skeeters are after you. Absolutely insane. Anyway, so fall is upon us. Halloween is basically here. And it's the most important time of year for Simi and I because all we do is watch TV. It's our only coping mechanism. And there's so many good new shows on.
For fall. Yes.
And some of them have already started. There is a show on Netflix. If you have not watched this show, I think we've talked about this on the podcast. Have we?
We have not.
I feel like we have.
Wait, what are you talking about?
It will make your blood boil. Netflix is unhinged. They are taking strangers. They're finding these like wilderness. They're going to Outdoor World in Nebraska or something. And they're finding these people with good personalities and saying, are you willing to be a villain and live in Alaska with your survival skills? And some of them actually have survival skills. Like they're like,
and the show is called,
I think it's called like The Outdoors or something.
No, it's called Outlast.
Oh, it's called Outlast, which is like the point.
It's
they
like
have to
Survivor,
outlast each other.
But you can't call it Survivor, so you have to call it Outlast.
And they claim they have no rules, but like obviously you can't kill anybody, but it's survive to the death, so like to the last person.
Or spoiler alert, the first season,
first season, oh my God.
They started just taking things from another team and like full blown, like just stealing. And their excuse for doing it was to say that there's no rules. And obviously, like,
I think that's a part of it. Like that's part of the rules. There's no rules.
Like if we're having no rules and you're stealing my stuff in real life in the wilderness, like you might get killed. So if we're or not get killed, there will be a fight that like goes down. So it's like, unless, you know what I'm saying? If that's your logic that you could steal because there's no rules, well, there's a lot of other things that we can do if you want to say that there's no rules, which it didn't make sense to me because...
Well, obviously there's like a line that they can't cross because it's like a workplace and like violence.
100%,
like,
but
I
think it was a downfall on the producers. And look, I get that there's like no rules, but in real life, if there were no rules, there might be some other things going down if you were stealing people's things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's interesting because it's supposed to be about like the show is interesting enough because it's supposed to be about just like surviving in extreme conditions. Yeah. And there's like a competition element. And because there's a prize, like it brought out the evilness in humanity.
But, I mean, people sounded off on Twitter, social media, and they were just like so mad about it. Their blood was boiling, like insane. So they just came out with the second season,
and it's turning out to be very similar. I mean, the show is good because it's a mirror of society. Of like,
well, it's still early. We haven't watched the whole thing yet, but
I mean, they're getting greedy already.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people on the show that are kind of trying to do the right thing, you know. So
they've obviously saw the first season and were like, I do not want to be canceled any more than I already am for being a recluse survival person.
I don't want people coming for me on social media.
So insane. So you guys should check that out. Check that show out. Check out that show. Losing it. The other big show they just announced today is the cast of Dancing with the Stars. If you don't watch Dancing with the Stars, or if you don't fast forward through Dancing with the Stars, which is I think what most people do, there's a lot of judging on that show. A lot of comments.
I gotta say, sometimes I do listen to the judging, but most of the time I see the performances.
Nothing against the judges, but like
I fast forward through the judging and then I like stay for maybe the scores.
Yeah.
And then maybe some commentary from the dancers, but then I fast forward.
Who's your favorite cast member they announced?
If it's not live. Right now, spoiler alert.
Spoiler
if you haven't
alert.
already seen it.
The Olympian.
The Olympian's really good because she's super funny. And
I'm talking about the guy, not the rugby player. Isn't he like a gymnast?
Oh, the
gymnastics?
gymnast. No, I'm talking about the girl who did the rugby.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good.
She's hilarious. But no, I mean, I'm excited to see him too.
She's with Alan, right?
Yeah, she's with Alan.
She's probably gonna win.
And then Anna Delvey.
Oh yeah, Anna Delvey. If you guys don't know who Anna Delvey is, you don't have Netflix or the internet, but Anna Delvey is just continuing to be the problematic icon we all need.
Polarizing.
Is it true that she's gonna wear her ankle bracelet? Because isn't she being tracked by police? That's like the whole thing. She has to wear her ankle bracelet to be on the show.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'm not too sure.
Because she's under house arrest.
She's a felon.
She's a felon. It's going to be interesting. I don't know how she's going to get to. I think she lives in New York. Anyway, stay tuned. We love Dancing with the Stars. The other thing they announced today is the new cast of Survivor, and they all look crazy. No, they all look super chill and normal. Nobody looks like.
It's so weird because you like don't know anyone yet
until you watch the show.
But you know, one day they're going to be your best friend.
They're going to be your best friend. If you guys don't watch Survivor, that's our third recommendation. You should, if you don't watch Survivor, you should go on Paramount Plus. Please sponsor us, and you should watch at least the last 4 seasons because they're really good. Last season was like a little. You probably skipped to episode 5 because sorry, Banu, like it was too much. But when they announced the new cast of Survivor, you don't know anybody. You're right, like. They're just like people. They're like, I'm Kyle. And you're like, okay, you're the one with the abs. But they don't really have that type of casting anymore. It's just normal people. So it's like.
Bring back the ab casting, please.
Well, definitely. Like sometimes it is nice to have stuff to look at. But I understand like inclusion is more important than vanity on TV. And they're all like, they have to pass like a physical test. I mean, they're all like in great shape. Even the old people can do the swimming and stuff. You know what I mean? Like they don't get on the show if they don't. It's not like Survivor Australia where it's like you have to be a CrossFit champion to even audition.
I mean, Australian Survivor is just Brutal.
Anyway, highly recommend. So if you're bored, if you have some downtime, I know that the kids went back to school and you're just sitting at home going, what have I done with my life?
Speaking of grammar, English teacher.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. We'll plug a fourth thing for you. So those three we'll be talking about constantly. Well, the adventure show will end quickly and we'll be mad, but Survivor we could talk about endlessly. Dancing with the Stars goes on forever. So, but yeah, there's a new show on
FX, which you can find on Hulu.
It's the only thing I know this guy.
Through Disney Plus.
Through Disney Plus with ads. Please sponsor us. And there's a guy, his name's Brian something, but he's like a hilarious comedian. The only thing I know him from is he was on the reboot of Will and Grace. He's done a ton of stuff, but so funny. If you follow him on TikTok, I mean, he does characters. He'll do like the face filters and do all these different characters. And it's just accents. Like it's, he's like a dialectician. Like he's so good, super talented guy. And I was kind of concerned for him for a while because on TikTok, he was like really going in on his characters. And I'm like, this guy's like not getting anywhere. I mean, nobody in Hollywood's getting any work, but I was concerned. And it turns out he was busy writing, producing, and directing this show on FX. And it's called The History Teacher. And it's like, it's unbelievable. Like,
yeah, it's pretty good. I was skeptical, but then after watching the first 2 episodes...
how would you describe it in like 2 sentences to someone? It's kind of hard to describe.
Well, I feel like it's groundbreaking in the... Oh, God, how do you describe it?
It like is creating the ultimate timely contrast in conversation. It's basically Abbott Elementary, but real conversation. It's not trying to be like funny and like The Office, Republican talking to a Democrat, or an actual like person that doesn't know about what drag is talking to somebody who's judged it their whole lives.
Yeah.
But it's like done in such a smart, funny way where you're watching it and you're like laughing, but you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah. I think if you're a Democrat, if we're talking about politics, and a Republican, this show I feel like is for both of them.
Yeah, like regardless of political views, you can sit down and you can empathize with the characters. You can laugh, be like, oh, yeah, like I understand. You know what I mean? Like,
because there's a lot of conversations between both, wherever you come from of trying to learn each other's side that go on in this show, which is kind of cool.
It's so funny.
Yeah, and it's super funny too.
The actors they chose, like, and I guess it makes sense because that guy, I think his name's Brian, is so funny that I can't imagine casting an ensemble around him because not many people are that funny, you know? Like, so there's a female, she has red hair. I don't know her name, but she is like,
yeah, she's
just when you think it's like the only time I've ever seen physical comedy and like subtle, the direction is part of it, but as funny as that is like when you go see like a Broadway show with like really good people,
Yeah.
Like,
she steals some scenes. It's pretty funny.
It's, we haven't laughed. It's not like laugh out loud, like 30 Rock, Kimmy Schmidt, where you're just like joke after joke after joke. It's like a little more subtle.
Yeah.
But I want to rewatch the episodes because I missed a bunch of stuff.
Oh, that's what it is too. It's like sometimes you watch an episode and you're like, okay, I've seen it and I'm done with it. This is one of those ones where you're like, oh, I can watch it again. Like The Office,
Yeah, you could rewatch it. And the other thing I'll say is like it's Abbott Elementary but real because he react like his character, all the characters react in like ways that human beings would react that you would interact with like in your family or in like a workplace, you know what I mean? Versus on a show like Abbott Elementary, like they react like in a comedy way or it's like quirky.
Yeah.
And it's like that people don't really do
or
that.
sometimes you're just too safe. Where you're like, you don't want to offend people. And this, quite honestly, it might offend some people, but like...
It's intended to create tension.
Yeah. It's funny, though. And it's, I don't know. Like, if you're not one of those people who are comedy people and get offended very easy, then this might not be for you. But I think it does a good job of just kind of showing the irony of things sometimes, so you kind of have to get that, like the satire of it all.
Yeah, there's a lot of satire. Anyway, it's a really good show. It's called The History Teacher. Highly recommend. We're gonna try and watch all of it. It's on FX. Super easy to watch. Little inappropriate, but
and spoiler alert. Scroll away right now if you don't want any spoilers, but Trixie Mattel is in one of the
episodes. There's a drag queen cameo. It's pretty, it's like, it's everything you want to see from, it's Skeeter. Everything. Skeeter. Jesus. The Skeeters. If you don't like TV, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not at the movie theater because ain't nobody going to the movies.
Unless you have a list.
All right, friends. This has been a ridiculous episode of the Number 2 Pod. We hope you enjoy this episode. As always, like, subscribe, leave a comment. We are available on all major platforms, including Apple Music, Amazon,
MySpace,
Taco Bell,
LimeWire,
Bitmoji,
Tamagotchi,
Polly Pocket,
Glowworm,
Beanie Baby, Napster,
Garbage Pail Kid,
My Little Buddy,
My Little Pony,
Furby,
Kid Sister.
In the words of my niece, Mommy,
Gabby,
running,
Etch a Sketch.
Goodbye.